challenging to identify a certain stage in the stages of meiosis, especially because meiosis has, as we know, two stages, meiosis 1 and meiosis 2, and students are always confused when it comes to identify whether it belongs to meiosis 1 or meiosis 2. Now, in this particular question, we can see that an image is given, a photomicrograph of a single plant cell in a stage of meiosis, and then it says describe the stage of meiosis shown in figure 5.1. So the very first thing that you need to do is you need to identify which particular stage of meiosis is we are talking about. So as you can see that there are two cells within this area, like one is this and another one is this, and then each cell has two sets of chromosomes, right? This actually tells us that we are talking about meiosis 2. So that should be the first point in describing the image. Secondly, why are we calling it meiosis 2? Because the two cells are visible, or four groups of chromosomes are visible. Then, if it is meiosis 2, which particular subphase of meiosis 2 we are referring to? So as you can see, the chromatids are moving away from each other. This must be anaphase 2, right? And then the reference to anaphase 2 would be as two groups of chromosomes per daughter cell, where the centromere must be attached to the spindle fiber. That is how the chromosomes are situated in the anaphase. And then what happens in anaphase is that spindle fiber shortens. That is a very important point that we need to mention over here. And because of shortening of the spindle fiber, chromatids are pulled towards opposite poles. Another important point that you can mention here is no nuclear envelope, which cannot be there in the metaphase and anaphase. So for 5 marks, you are supposed to write at least 5 points among these 8 points that we have written over here.